A penny saved is a penny earned, but could you be saving too much?
One way to tell is if you still have money left over after setting aside enough for a 6 to 12-month emergency fund as well as your insurance needs. Any extra cash should be put to harder work. That brings us to mistake number 2, not investing your savings.
So people should know, actually they think that in not investing is a result of their low risk taking behavior, but actually the biggest risk they are taking is not investing it. Not investing is actually even riskier, because keeping your money in those accounts that does not earn you much ensures that your money will be eroded by inflation. So your money is just shrinking each year just by doing nothing. So people should start looking at how much they need on hand for cash, and then have removed the emotional need to have all that cash in one place and invest the rest.
So for instance, you may have some percentage of your money in safer investment alternatives such as T-bills and Singapore savings bonds. You should also look at taking some risks for potential growth. So for investors who are just starting out, it may be good to adopt the dollar cost averaging approach, meaning you set aside a fixed amount every month, let's say $300, to buy into an investment such as a diversified unit trust or diversified ETF, so that you can invest consistently as well to avoid market volatility.
The third mistake we make with our savings, not diversifying them. Look at having different pots of money in different asset classes, splitting them according to different risk levels and time periods.
So for example, if you have emergency fund, which we recommend that it should be 6 to 12 months, depending on how easy it is for you to find a new job, the industry that you're in, the type of job that you're in. So that money should be in cash equivalents. That could be fixed deposits, or these days you have fixed deposit equivalents with the Singapore savings bonds or the robo-advisors. You could put your money in there. And then the other part would be short-term goals, things, money you would want back for a certain goal that you need, for example, like a mortgage down payment, that would be something less than 5 years. So you could invest in part equity, part income fund. A good start would be to start investing in a diversified fund structure where you have a basket of goods, a basket of stocks, or a basket of, say, bonds within the fund at a really low cost. And then the last would be, if you're in your 20s, 30s, then you should be looking at high percentage of equities. And that would be for any money that you need 5, 10 years, 30 years down the road at least. So you don't need to be too worried about how the markets are doing, as long as you have possibly diversified the money into that particular asset class in that bucket.
Another common mistake is leaving your savings in a simple savings account. Typically, these offer interest rates as low as 0.05% in return for easy access to your money. You can leave your emergency fund there as you'll need it to be highly liquid. For anything else, shop around for higher interest rate savings accounts. These can make a big difference. Take, for instance, $10,000 in a simple savings account with 0.05% interest per annum. After a year, you get $5 in interest. At 1.5% interest per annum, that's $150. And at 4%, well, that's more than double. The only caveat? Check the conditions that come with the account. You might need to make transactions with a credit card or credit your salary into the account to receive the higher rates. And the easiest mistake to make? Not being consistent with your savings.
For a lot of people, they kind of save only when they have left over at the end of the month. So what we can do is actually to adopt the pay ourselves first approach, which is to set aside a fixed savings amount at the start of the month into a separate savings account. and then we allow ourselves to spend the rest of our money. So this prioritize savings and help us to build a disciplined approach towards savings.
Decide how much you are going to save each month and use automation to ensure that amount goes to a separate account each payday. Make sure your goal is realistic and in line with your spending needs. How much should you save? At a minimum, 10% of your monthly salary. Some recommend even more.
Our future retirement period is approximately a third of our lifespan. So saving 30% of your income at the minimum is a good benchmark in preparation of that for that period. Yeah, so if you actually find yourself like spending more than 70%, then going back one step ahead to say, hey, what am I really spending on? Can I cut down on that to ensure that I don't spend more than 70% of my income? Reduce on non-essential discretionary spend, such as like eating out, entertainment, things like that. And if that's really not possible, then it's possible that, your earnings could be improved. That could mean like upskilling. Or if you're a single household income, could look at a dual income setup. And these days, freelancing is a lot easier, a lot more accessible with those platforms.
But if you have debt to pay off, how do you save? If it's good debt, things associated with asset building such as property, you could build up savings at the same time while you pay off debt. But bad debt, things like credit card bills and personal loans with higher interest rates, should be paid off before accumulating more savings. Just make sure you have your emergency fund set up first.